much fun. But you know, one of the things I do at Forum Max every year is I go back and I look at the cases that we worked on over the last 12 months. And I think, oh my gosh, this is the group of the most elite. And I've got to figure out what was the most unique, what's going to blow someone's mind, and try to work that angle so that I can bring something of value to the table, because I feel like I get so much out of it. And, you know, the reality was, when I was looking back over the last 12 months, we didn't do one thing the same twice. Everything we did was unique. Everything was tailored to that client or that situation. And the only common thread with all of that was that we never began with the end in mind. You know, we talk about that beginning with the end in mind, but we didn't in any one of those situations. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but there's a little bit of chaos going on right now in the world. Just a tiny bit, and we all feel it, right? It's everywhere. And I think about a few years ago, I was in an event with Navy SEAL Matt Church, and he said, calm is contagious. Calm is contagious. And we have the opportunity in the roles that we do to be that calm, to be the grounding mechanism for the families and individuals that we work with. And it also reminds me, there's another author out there named Arthur Halavati, and I try not to slaughter his last name, but he says the first secret of getting what you want is knowing what you want. Well, we often know what the client needs before they know what they need. And usually we find it out and we think about, they needed that like yesterday. They needed like that 6 months ago. And especially with all these approaching deadlines from tax angles and this and that, we're thinking about that constantly. And the reality is we need to slow down for the client to go fast, because they aren't there yet. They haven't figured that out. And we have done, I feel like, you know, over the last couple of years, as fast as things are and as fast as we're going, our clients don't feel that at all. They feel, you know, the steady Eddie pace, and we may be, you know, doing 8 million different things for them, but they don't feel it and they don't know it. And why is that? You know, we always talk about some of those cases in our past that were hard to close, and why didn't that go through? What fell through about that? And I had a aha realization looking back at the cases over the last year, and one presented itself really hard. And this was something that I met with this prospect back in 2012. And the moment I met with them, started talking to them, started looking it through, I was like, ESOP. I was like, that's it. That's what they need. I can see it all day long, but they couldn't see it. And no matter what we try to do, we can't get somebody to see something that we see in our profession just because we're the expert. We've got to help them come to that realization. So here we are 8 years later, going through our entire life planning infrastructure process with those people. And guess what we're doing? ESOP, right? So I think the funny thing is that we need to take the time to lay down the groundwork. And we need to do that more importantly now than ever, because if we don't and we mess it up, how messy is that really going to be with all of these changes that are, you know, on board? And we hear from our fellow members all the time about everything that's going on and how we need to build in flexibility and do all this. But what does flexibility mean? And I was on the phone with Dean earlier, and here's my R&D, by the way. I was on the phone with Dean earlier, and he was talking to me. He said, do you know that when golf professionals are working on their golf, they're actually using a stopwatch and timing the time before they swing the club? And I said, no, I don't know that. And he said, do you know why? I said, no, I don't know why. And he said, they're measuring it because that's the time that they're actually thinking about how they're going to swing. And if you know anything about golf, right? Most of us are golfers. Is one little teeny weeny thing that we do differently can mess up that whole swing. And so what are you doing with the infrastructure of your client? How are you building that? How much time are you spending on that to get that swing just perfect when it needs to happen, and get what needs to be done when it needs to be done? Well, at Max this year, I'm going to talk about strategy. I'm going to talk about how we took all that R&D over the years, because yeah, I'm openly admitted, most of it's not original. It's R&D after R&D, and how that actually plays out and what you can do with it.